Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Linux 18 Toscast podcast. We have the three amigos. We have Spatry Juan Valdez from South America, Florida.
Yee-hee!
Welcome aboard. We have myself, Tony Toss Today from up here up north. And in Australia, we have IG, and off the top of my head, IG, I can't think of a good slang name for you. But
Yeah,
welcome
I'm gonna have
back.
to work on that.
Yes. Welcome back, IG. I know it's been a while, and why don't you fill us in because people have been wondering where you been, where you been. Well, IG is right here. I mean, not here. He's in Australia. IG, take it away.
Yes, well, it's a pleasure to be on the show once again. And yes, I have been regretting my own absence, to be honest, because yeah, seeing the last couple of Linux 18 shows with all the fantastic guests you've had on. And so, yeah, actually, it's been very busy with school, and I've also been going in and out of town a fair bit. So hopefully we'll be able to get back to a bit more of a regular schedule. And yeah, so here I am once again, and it's great to be here, and I'm looking forward to the conversation once again.
Cool. Spatry, what's up?
Uh, the sky, taxes, the cost of living.
So, as we spoke last night, you are going to mention that you are going to buy that Sony smartwatch, right?
Uh, I don't think they could even give me one. You know, because I mean, yeah, I mean, really, if I need information at it's easier just to pull my phone out of my back pocket, you know.
So you're
But
really trying to say that the smartwatch is really a dumb watch? Don't put a.
well, no. Somebody will be able to put it to good use. I
Okay,
mean,
okay.
but I don't see where it would be useful for me. But
Once I have a watch that acts like a phone, then I'll be interested. And you just be, sitting there with your little wristband talking into your watch like a boss.
yeah, but the thing is, I was talking about having to put the phone up to your ear, just to listen
Bluetooth,
for.
Bluetooth, come
Yeah.
on.
Okay. Yeah.
Jeez.
Blue. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But what about some person like me? Because now you got to have all these plugs into the wall. You got to plug in your phone. You got to plug in your Bluetooth. You got to plug in your watch. You know. All that other stuff, and then the next thing you know, they're going to have these watches that measure health characteristics such as be able to check your blood pressure, determine whether or not your girlfriend is pregnant or not. I mean, they're gonna have all these little features thrown into these things. I mean, and why can't we just go back to the phone being just a telephone, a watch doing one thing, telling time, you know
The minimalistic approach, one application per task.
exactly. Let's keep it simple, stupid. I mean, we're adding all these features and all these technologies and that sort of thing. I mean, it's starting to get pretty confusing.
Uh,
And you need a degree just to manage them all.
Exactly.
I would like to thank Fred Flintstone for appearing on the show from Florida. Thank you, Fred. I'll catch you next week. IG, I think we need to get Spatry back into the 21st century here. But anyway,
Yeah, it sounds good to me.
well, anyway, it was almost a year ago. I believe it was May 31st of last year that IG and I, meaning Infinitely Galactic and myself, did the very first Tosscast podcast. And the way that came about, if I recall, IG, you and I were still trying to pick up, subscribers and viewership and get and grab some attention. And if I recall, you made a rather cool video, the Ubuntu commercial, as I call it. Okay, like if you remember that. And some
Yes,
people thought
indeed, I
it
do.
okay, and some people thought it was a real one. I for a second I thought it was real, but but then I realized, it was well done. But if I recall, you didn't really have a lot of subs that time. I'm gonna say 100, 200. I mean, like whatever it wasn't a lot. This was in the early days of your channel, and I saw your video. It was so well done. I thought, no, he needs a lot more than this. This is. And I thought to myself, well, I could use some more attention. So I thought, you know what, maybe a podcast where we could join our brains together and try to get more exposure. And I think you had done a brief podcast with somebody else. Vaguely remember. I don't know how it worked out.
Yeah, yeah, Black Phoenix 200, I think he was. I mean, he was starting to do he started doing Linux videos shortly before I did, and he was sort of just like an initial kind of inspiration, started me going. And he was with Ping iOS, and he was doing videos on all the different applications and
Okay.
things. And we did a brief podcast, but it didn't really. I
Okay.
mean, we weren't able to keep it up regularly because he was doing school, I was doing school.
Ah.
He was in UK, and I was here, so it was a bit too difficult.
Okay. So my memory does serve me correct. Anyway, I sent you a message, and you thought cool. And I thought, well, I'm just going to say, look, these are the ground rules. It'll be our very first one. We don't really know each other. We can talk about any piece of technology you want. I just basically said no trash talking, none whatsoever. You immediately agreed. I agreed. We set up the first Tosscast podcast, and I think I had like a little notepad taking notes, but I didn't have any pre-notes. And we spoke. I thought it was maybe 45 minutes an hour, and I think something happened on my end of the recording. You sent me the recording in 4 or 5 parts, and then you say, you realize we spoke for over 2 hours? I'm like, holy macaroni. But that just went to prove how the conversation went so well because, as they say, time flies when you're having fun. And because of that, even though the topic or topics were somewhat disjointed, it didn't matter because I thought that the conversation seemed, oh, how can I say, it seemed real, it seemed human, it was just, two minds getting together, sharing thoughts, you and your country and me, of course, here in the US. People liked it. And that's it. That was our very first Tosscast, and we continued from there. And then I think one of us had mentioned, maybe we should try to do something live. And you sent me a PM saying, hey, I don't know if you've heard of Spatch, but you know how we talked about doing something live? Well, Spatry wants to do it. And I saw Spatry's videos, and I figured after 3 or 4 speaker monitors blowing up, I thought it was time to talk to Spatry. He's got that sinister laugh like Dr. Evil on the Austin Powers. Dr. Evil. Anyway, IG texted, well, not texted me, PM'd me, and we got together with Spatry, and we did our first, well, I call it Three Amigos. It was entitled that, our first Three Amigos Tosscast. And a subscriber from, I think, Switzerland, maybe I'm not sure, but he caught it. He just wrote the A Team. I'm like, the A Team, because the A Team show back in the 80s was kind of like goofy, wild. But I thought, wait a minute, the Linux A Team, I love it. And folks, that's how the Linux A Team was born. And here we are doing another one. I never would have predicted this, never would have dreamed about this. On behalf of myself, and I'm sure my friends, thank you to all of you who continue to nudge us into doing these. We definitely appreciate all of the support. But enough of me. Spatry, what are your thoughts?
I really like the idea of having conversations with others and that sort of thing. And before I got with you guys, I know I had a few people appear on my show as guests. Doing a few things with Skype. One of my friends, Brian, made an appearance on the show. And then I had a Windows user who actually, the Buck Bowl, who has an antivirus and testing show, and he was, doing Windows at the time. And since then, he's actually switched to Linux as a result of watching my shows. And I've just seen a number of shows. I mean, I've seen yours, Total West, today. I've seen yours, Infinitely Galactic, Sneaky Linux, Quids Up shows. I mean, This Week in Linux, and a whole list of others. Uh, And the thing is, I just wanted to give it my own little flavor. Everybody knows me as being, well, somewhat twitchy after I've had too much coffee, and I think that's
Somewhat.
the, yeah, well, that's the case today. I mean, I'll admit I'm a little bit wired now, and you know, uh, somebody always told me, when you're doing videos of this type, just be yourself, and have fun with it. And so that's what I did, and I became known for yelling in the microphone and carrying on that sort of thing. But a lot of these shows that I've watched, I'm not going to single anybody out or whatnot, but some of these shows would get boring after a few minutes listening to them and that sort of thing, and
Yeah.
and I think
Today I will review K-Den Live because it's so
yeah,
good. It does
yeah,
this. Thank you.
yeah.
Goodbye. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're looking at Kaden live right now, and so I just put this used car salesman approach to the show, and it seems to work. Now, I've had a few people complain that I do get a little bit loud. They're wearing the headphones, so now whenever I go through and I look at the episode that I just filmed and I'm piecing it together, okay, well, now I've got this little clip that I can throw at the beginning. Please turn down the volume on your headphones so that,
That's fair.
so,
Yeah.
yeah, at least put up a little bit of a warning and that sort of thing. But you know what? I've always had a passion for interacting with other people, and so and for the most part, everybody that I've had a chance to work with have been really great. And so that's why I decided, every Saturday night we'll have the Zoo Crew. This is where I can, there's no commitments on anybody's part. Anybody can join us on the Linux distro community, and they can catch us on IRC, and then they can, come into Mumble on our channel. They can listen. I mean, I'll get a number of people that'll just pop in, and I mean, just like on our last show, we had a few show hosts. We had a few of my subscribers appear, and we even had Alan Pope, one of the managing engineers for Ubuntu, appear on the show, and it's always a joy having him on the show as
Yes.
well. He's very knowledgeable, and of course, it ends up becoming the Ubuntu show, which is perfectly fine because Ubuntu is a hot topic right now, and pretty much
Yep.
many, many, many distributions out there are using Ubuntu as a base. So, Ubuntu is always going to be a hot topic because all these distributions that are rolling out twice a year have an Ubuntu influence in them. So so why not? And the thing is, the responses that we're seeing as a result of these videos, people just cannot get enough of these. They absolutely love them, and and that's what we do. We give our viewers what they want,
You know what?
and
It makes the big world smaller and it gives more people a sense of community, family, like, hey, I'm contributing, he or she is contributing, and then maybe they feel better about it. That's how I see it. So,
exactly, exactly. So. And I'm glad to be a part of this community. I feel that I received a real gift. You know, from the Linux community. I'm using an innovation on several computers here that is free of charge. A lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of work has gone into all the software that I use. The open source community has really given me something that I highly value, and I felt that you know I needed to give something back for what I freely received. So that's why I decided to, you know, dedicate a lot of my time, actually, a lot of my free time goes into this show, and but I enjoy doing it. I mean, I've always had a passion for computers. I've always had a passion for working with multimedia and that sort of thing. So, for me, it's more like a labor of love, if you will, you know, and
cool.
yeah, it's something I enjoy doing. I enjoy helping people. I love the questions that come in. And a lot of times I don't know the answer, but it only takes me a few minutes to find an answer to give to
Yeah.
some. And getting that message, thank you for taking the time to answer my questions. Thank you for being so prompt. Thank you for being on top of this and that sort of thing. I mean, that makes it worth, you know, it's so
Yeah.
rewarding to get that kind of feedback from people, and I highly appreciate that kind of feedback. So I'm going to continue doing it to the best of my ability.
Cool. So IG, is it more than a hobby for you or
I mean, very, very similar story with Spatry. I mean, for me, the whole, I mean, the beauty of YouTube and the beauty of what we do is this interaction. You know, I mean, it's very hard to get this kind of close knit sort of community out of, you know, a television show or anything else. It's really something that's only achievable through the technology that's on the internet. And you know, just being having a, you know, an audience that appreciates your work and is benefiting from it, you know, from an information point of view, but then also just from, you know, sheer enjoyment, and then being able to join that together with, you know, different show hosts for different perspectives. You know, I think it's been a really great idea, and I think it's probably taken all of our channels in a way that, you know, we probably didn't expect going into it. So I mean, it's been really great to listen to each of these podcasts, the ones that I haven't been a part of, and just being able to see the amazing, you know, just the amazing collaboration that goes into it. I mean, really, I mean, in the at the risk of sounding very sort of preachy, it's very much in the spirit of what open source is, and you know, just being able to you know, collaborate on these videos to bring our minds together and just, you know, share what our thoughts are on various, you know, aspects and elements of the tech world. And I think that's what people enjoy, is just the realness of it all. You know, there's not a whole lot of show business apart from the fantastic comedy the comedy chemical reaction that goes off between you and Spatry. So and people, you know, people are loving it. So you know, as long as I can be a part of it, I definitely will be.
I am not funny. I am the governor. Goodbye.
You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
We IG is kind of probably left out, but once you catch last night's show we did, and by the way, folks, if you haven't seen it, it's just what can I say? It's just freaking hilarious. We did a show last night, Sunday night, and we're trying to do it every Sunday night, either by myself with Spatry or with IG or whoever I can lasso in, you know, reel them in, or she in for that matter. But it's the Toss Today Tech Brief. Try to do it once a night, Sunday night around 10 p.m. And basically, I pick, or my partner picks, three, you know, technology news items. Now, it doesn't have to be strictly Linux or Windows, because if you do it all the time, it gets kind of monotonous. You know, it could be technology on, you know, rocket ships, or, you know, space travel, you know. But last night we picked three, or I picked three topics, and for me, I wanted it to be just a short, you know, straightforward, formal, get down to the topics, talk about it, and share our two minds. Forget it. The jokes were better than the news topics, so I may just call it like the Sunday night joke news hour or something like that, you know. But once you hear it, you'll know what I'm talking about. It turned out better than and it turned out funnier than I really wanted it to. But that just goes to show, when you have that sense of, you know, that sense of family where everything just clicks. If things don't go your way or my way, I don't care, because it may turn out better. So, and that's what happened last night. So, I mean, IG, once you listen, you'll know what I mean. I'm sure most of the folks will. But getting back to that sense of, you know, people chiming in and open source, it is kind of ironic, because Ubuntu does mean humanity towards others. But yet, when you do a video or make a statement or compare two different OSs that some people don't like, they throw in these inhuman comments. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, I thought Ubuntu was humanity towards others. Oh, it's to yourselves and not me. Now I get it, you know. But that's the few and far between. That's not the majority of people out there. They really are nice and supportive. That's what's kept me going. You know, I've been doing this now. It was 2 years this past March, and look, it's a lot of work involved. You know, it isn't just slapping something, you know, and then put it on YouTube. You know, you need to do it like we are, and sometimes I might have a prearranged notes, script. Uh, you know, I may do two or three takes of a review, play it back. If it's not to my liking, I'll do it again. It's almost like a Hollywood production, not to sound grandiose, but it takes, look, it takes three things. It takes a certain amount of talent, and I think all three of us have been blessed with that certain voice, that people like to listen to that find somewhat comforting. So it takes talent, and talent goes in with, motivation, your attitude, and so on and so forth. The second thing, obviously, it takes hardware, the proper hardware, software to make it work. And third, it does take a certain amount of money. And if you can combine those three things, then you have it made. But you really have to keep up with the technology news to stay relevant. And I think that's what we all do pretty well. In fact, I dare say we are excellent, or try to strive for that excellence, so people realize that 99% of the time we are on the ball. Not always. And you know what? Once in a while, it's okay to mess up, goof up, like we did last night. And some people are probably thinking, "Oh, you guys planned it that way." Yeah, sure we did. Nah, no, no, we didn't. But
If
we
I may,
shoot. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah,
Shoot.
if
Yeah.
I may interject here, we need to call it the Sunday Night News and Nonsense Show.
That's a
There we
thought.
go.
News and nonsense.
And you're saying, we're all these soft-spoken, calm voices. What about the shock value?
Well, Spatry, maybe maybe I'll leave that to you. But
Well, I mean, because
yeah,
last night, you're putting up all these news articles and everything, and I've been throwing wrenches into all this, and believe me, it wasn't planned. I don't know. Maybe maybe the I have a little devil on one shoulder and the angel on the other, and the little devil kicked the
it's
angel off, and and
it's it's
I was
it's
just in
it's
rare form yesterday.
it's almost bizarre, because if I didn't know you, like if I was talking to you for the very first time and didn't know you, I would be thinking, gee, what a bunch of a freaking horse stable type of person this is. But we know each other. We're family. So I'm thinking to myself, after the first, no, I think it was the second news item, I'm thinking, oh, bleep the freaking news. Let's just go to the jokes. So, and it turned out okay. But I think I'll just keep it as the Toss Today news brief, and people will kind of get the hint. What are they going to go? What kind of trouble are they going to get into now? But
I still say Sunday Night News and Nonsense would be a better title
I
for
think
that.
that's more
Tonight
appropriate
on
for your
Sunday Night
channel.
News and Nonsense.
There we go. See, I just got the better voice because IG has more of a straight voice to do it.
You got to do that again one more time for the Spatry. I got to
Go.
hear this again.
Okay. Tonight on Toss Today's News and Nonsense.
I
He's out
love it.
of
It doesn't
coffee.
even sound like you.
No, it doesn't. It sounds like an infomercial or something. But
It's Sunday Night News and Nonsense.
there you go. I
See,
think that's
I
more
was more
appropriate for
going
your
for the
channel. Yeah.
I was more going for the CSI Miami type voice.
Ah,
There you go.
but anyway, yeah. So no, I am not changing my title. If you want to go for it, Spat, because it's more appropriate for you.
Yeah. Well, we
Yeah.
could call it SNN.
SNN,
Instead of TTTB.
which
Instead of
sounds like a
CNN.
disease or something. Yeah. See what I mean, folks? Just stuff, this is the stuff I have to put up with, folks, is what I said last night.
Yeah. I got a bad case of TTTB from that girl across the street. Oh gosh.
Uh, anyway, IG is nicely tucked away safe in Australia, so he doesn't have to put up with this.
Hey,
But
just so you guys know, I got my boots on just in case the shiznits gets too deep.
don't get me started on the shovel stuff. I well, ATI drivers is a thing in my, it's in my past, no more. I learned my lesson. The moment I see something tested by Ubuntu developers, sure it
Read
is.
the fine print
Next.
first.
Yeah, yes. And the fine print says bleep you, but see what I mean? But no, I'm happy with my Ubuntu. It's fine. So,
Well, I mean, it really, though, when you want to configure the drivers properly, you just need to go on the Arch Wiki and RTFM. You know,
I
Actually,
am
that
not a terminal guy. It's not gonna happen. It's just not who I am. It's like you said, you have
well,
to be yourself. Well, that's just not me. So,
yeah, well, that's exactly what I'm going to do once I set up my tower. I'm going to install Ubuntu, and I'm not going to install any proprietary drivers. I'm going to follow the Arch Wiki, and I'm going to go step by step through manually configuring
okay.
all the files according to the Arch Wiki, and I'm going to set up my graphics. I'm pretty much going to apply the Arch way to Ubuntu just to see what happens.
Okay.
Just for laughs and giggles, because you know what I have found during my time of using Pinguy OS, which of course is an Ubuntu flavor, that I've actually found answers from the Arch Wiki that actually worked. So I figured, well, I'm going to try that. And if I fail miserably, well, then I learned something. But if it works, I have something that I can share with the community. Hey?
Absolutely.
Shh, whatever you say, Spatch.
Well, hey, yeah, I realize you don't like the terminal and that, but the thing is, you can still graphically go in and
Yes, yes.
edit, just by using LeafPad or
Yeah,
GateEdge or Kate or any other little
yeah.
simple text editor to modify those files. You just
Mm,
run the text
right.
editor's root, select the file you want to edit, with the exception of the sudoers file where you got to run vsudo for that. But
Yeah.
other than that,
I mean, I don't really hate using the terminal. I mean, if it's necessary, I will. It just, it's just that I choose not to. That's the best answer that I can give you. So,
yeah. But the thing is, if you're going to really run a Linux system, you gotta take a little bit of time to learn the terminal because that's where you're going to get most of the power. And I mean, it does not, you know, you know. I had a little bit of a fear of it in the beginning, but as I got to using it regularly, you know what? That fear eventually goes away.
right?
I mean, it takes time, but the thing is, that's why you got all these people on YouTube putting up these tutorials. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
easier to learn by watching. I know it is for me. I'd much rather watch have somebody show me how to do it rather
Yeah.
than read the documentation and
Right.
but I found that the documentation with the ArchWiki. I mean, you'd have to be brain dead if you don't figure that out. You
You
know,
make some valid points, but I mean, in my case, and by the way, thank you for calling I think on the first interview I did with you, called my channel the One Stop Shop for Dual Booters, I think. Thank
exactly.
you. That's exactly what it is. And because it's that, if I start mentioning the terminal more and more, I mean, it's not appropriate for my channel. I will probably scare people away. You make some valid points, and I agree, but because of the way my channel is structured, I really cannot focus on that. I got to focus for new people who are scared. Say, look, Linux is not that bad. Come into my channel or your channel or IG's for that matter, but perhaps my channel is more tailored for dual booters. This is what I do, and you should look at me because I am a dual booter. I come primarily from learning Windows, so this is what I've done. It works, and don't be scared. But if I started doing or mentioning more and more terminal, I mean, for me personally, that's probably not going to work in the long run. So,
But this is an option, and this is something that I have considered, and this is something I will be implementing into future episodes. Is that this is the easy way to do it graphically, and this is the way you do it in the terminal. You know, show them how to do it both ways.
that's a possibility, sure. I'll leave the terminal expertise to you because you
Okay.
know, you seem to have nailed it.
No,
But
I
yeah,
haven't really. No, I
well, it's
haven't. I'm still learning stuff.
so you're faking it. Darn it. No, I'm just
But the
kidding.
thing is, I will admit, I do spend a good deal of time in my terminal. That's why I've got it pimped out so
Well,
cool.
it's more than me. I'll,
I've
I'll
got,
put it to you that way. It's a lot more than me. So you're the pimp and I'm
well,
the well, never mind. But anyway,
oh, don't even go
see what
there.
I mean,
But
folks?
but the
Spatry
thing
has
is, yeah,
contaminated me. Yeah, no, but
yeah, I mean, yeah, I've got my terminal, all of my text is all colorful and everything, and I mean, instead of
Cool.
having boring, boring, dark background with white text, instead now
And
I've
black and
got
white was so 1960s.
exactly, now I've got a really cool wallpaper. I've got my little Arch logo on the top showing everything, and then
Cool.
I got all these really cool brackets and everything around, and well, you know but
Cool.
I do that because hey, if I got to watch the terminal and watch things compile and stuff like that, and might as well make it look cool.
I would have to
So
agree. We are
yeah.
about halfway through this show, so I
Only halfway. Okay.
I'm having fun. Look, if Spatry, if you want to leave, that's fine. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Um,
Goodbye.
okay, no. We're family, folks. We're just kidding. IG, did you mention that you purchased a camera or a Mac or a used Mac or a used I can't remember, but do you want to fill us in?
Yeah, yeah, a couple of things. I mean, I managed to get my hands on a secondhand 13-inch MacBook Pro,
Ah,
just to sort of play around with, but also because I was wanting to sell it on to another person as well, because they've been looking for a lightweight, laptop that wasn't going to require too much maintenance. And yeah, I mean, just from the applications point of view, I mean, I think they'd been running Linux for a little while, but the machine that they were running Linux on was quite big and heavy, and so
ah,
when I saw this MacBook Pro for the price that it was it was pretty well worth it. So um, yeah, and then with the Canon 600D, which is a digital SLR.
right.
I managed to pick that up for a pretty incredible price, and I was
Okay.
pretty happy with it. And so, I mean, I've been wanting to get my hands on one for quite a while for photography and filmmaking and stuff like that as well. But
Ah,
it also does lend itself very nicely to to making the videos slightly higher quality as well, which is nice.
yeah, I did notice that on the last video I was able to catch. I mean, the video and the audio quality was wow, it was really good. So I mean, I figured you had bought something new, but I'm sorry, what model number is that camera again? A Canon
It's a Canon 600D, or I
6.
think it's called. I think in the States, I think it's like a Rebel T3i. I think.
Ah, okay. And this does still
Yeah,
photography and motion like videos too?
yeah, yeah. So it does
Okay.
the full HD 1080p video, and then and then obviously 18 megapixels, so forth and so on for the
Nice.
stills. So yes,
Well,
it is a very nice camera. I'm very impressed with it.
there you go, folks. If you are shopping around for a camera, it has been officially tested by IG. um, yeah, I haven't.
And with a name like Canon, you'll definitely be able to blow people away.
Oh yeah.
But a boop boop.
Boom.
See what I mean, folks? I mean,
and
uh,
and
Thank
don't
goodness you're still here.
and whatever you do, if you're running Linux, don't buy Kodak, okay? They're going out of business anyway, aren't they?
they stopped making regular film cameras, didn't they? I don't know.
Uh, yeah, well, yeah, I
No
thought I
idea.
read something about them going under and that sort of thing, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just the nature of technology. As people get more into more smartphones, why would you want to carry around, unless your camera is a high-end camera, like what IG was just saying, that's probably better than the average smartphone camera. So, but yeah, probably the future of cameras is probably either a high-end smartphone where it's all built in, or a high-end camera that you prefer to carry along because it's just better quality. So,
Actually, I was talking to a guy in a photography store, and he was saying that these micro, like what are they called, the 2/3 cameras or something? Because of the fact they don't have like a mirror system in them, they're quite compact, so they're only about the size of a smartphone, but they have a big old lens on the front of it, so you still get the same sort of photographic creative possibilities with them as you do with with the big digital SLR cameras that most professionals use now. So they reckon actually that's where the future's going, just the camera itself getting smaller,
yeah,
but the
right.
lens and stuff, you can still do all that fun stuff.
you still have professionals though that swear by film, you know. So
Absolutely.
there's always going to be a need for cameras that shoot with film, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think so. And I mean, if all the other companies aren't going to be chasing it, then there's definitely going to be a very happy company who's going to fill that niche quite well.
Yeah, I thought I read somewhere or one of the tech shows on Discovery Channel, and then maybe I'm totally way off base, but I think I heard if for most people 5 megapixel camera is just standy unless you want to blow it up to like a poster size, because I believe I heard that most people can't tell the difference in quality above a 5 when it's a standard 4 by 6 photo. Does that make any sense to you?
Absolutely, it does. I agree with that completely. I mean, I've got the capability to shoot up to 18 megapixels, but I'm only shooting at 8 just because, yeah, it takes up too much space. I mean, one
Yeah.
photo is like 8 megs,
Wow.
and so that's just. I mean, if
Right.
you go out on a weekend and take 200 photos, that's an awful lot of space on your hard drive, and you don't really see too much difference in quality if you're just looking at it on a monitor or on just a standard size print. So.
I believe
Yeah, I
Spatry, yeah.
I th- I
Yeah, go ahead.
I think all these megapixels, yeah, 18 megapixels. I mean that's great if you're gonna take photos that are
Blow it
for
up the size of a truck.
burials. Yeah, you want to put it on a truck or something like that. But even then, if you get close enough to a truck, I mean, you'll see how those images can look pixelated and that sort of thing. They're meant for viewing at a distance rather than up close. But I mean, really, you don't need all those megapixels. And really,
Right.
I'm not impressed when I'm out shopping for a camera, how many megapixels it'll do. I mean, I have a Kodak camera here that is a 10 megapixel.
Hmm.
And really, when I'm taking photographs, I only shoot them at 2 megapixels because really, I don't need, especially if I'm just going to use them for web delivery and that sort of thing. The images are obviously going to be shrunk a lot smaller anyway to fit on a web
Yes.
page and that sort of thing. And then you have to optimize them, remove all the redundant colors and all this other stuff because some people have, while while bandwidth may not be an issue for a number of people, for a lot of others it still is. You
Right.
still have people that are using dial-up, and so pretty much they're going to wait until old age for a page to load if you're going to load a 18 megapixel image on your desktop. And now I can understand, if you're using compiz effects and you really want a nice high definition background, for your sky domes and stuff like that, of course you'd want a huge picture for that. But other than that, for standard picture taking, 2 megapixels is
Hmm.
more than adequate.
Well, for
Wow, all of a sudden we've
myself,
turned into a
yeah.
photography show.
See, it's Spatry's photography special show of the week. Why don't we move on to the final segment of the show and maybe talk about the future of our respective channels? IG, you want to go first?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my plan has always been to sort of showcase the Linux desktop. That's what my jingle is, and that I mean I'm definitely going to keep on doing that. There's always going to be Linux releases around to take a look at, and I'm always open to suggestions of what people find makes their life easier when it comes to using their computer. Because honestly, I mean, as well as the operating system is a big part of that, but also the applications, which is why I do like to review applications and just let people know of what sort of quality open source apps are out there that they can use. And if they are cross-platform, then that's even better because then, irrespective of what system you're running, you can still use those applications to make your life easier. So that's what I'm going to keep on doing. And I mean, absolutely these podcasts as well. And and if and when I get more time, I'll dabble in with the whole news side of things as well. But it is very time demanding. So I mean, at this stage, I'm looking at least having one video each week, which I think is only fair to all those who spend the time to tune into my channel and everything like that. And I really do appreciate all the subscribers and the support that I've gotten over this last year. So I mean, I owe it to them, and apart from the fact that I just enjoy doing it, and I think I'll continue to enjoy doing it. So as long as I have the time to do it, you're going to be seeing a video each week, and hopefully, more than that if time allows.
Right. Spatry, I know your latest greatest creation is a zoo crew, but I know we had talked about this, in the past. I mean, in private, but you want to talk about the future of the Spatry Linux channel?
Okay, well, we're going to continue with the Zoo Crew. That's a given. I look forward to doing those episodes every week, and of course the 8 team. I still want to continue doing those as well. I will be adding a request feature to my channel, and basically, what I'm going to do with that is because I mean I'm getting requests coming from Facebook, Google Plus, Twitter. Um, I'm getting them from many different places, and it's hard for me to manage and keep track of all the requests that are coming in. So I'm going to add a request feature to my channel. It's going to be in the form of a playlist, and I'm going to announce this is where everybody can put their requests. And as I fill those requests, I'll mark them done, and people can go onto my feed and see where all the requests are. I'm going to have a central location for everybody to send in their requests. That way, I can keep, better track of them because especially lately with work, my volunteer work that I'm doing, and I have a number of other things going on in everyday life, and I'm unable to put up as many videos as I had been able to in the past. At least this will allow me to balance my workflow where my channel is concerned. So I'm going to be adding the request feature. Uh, and like Infinitely Galactic stated, I'm still going to be doing distribution overviews as I try new applications that I feel are useful. I'm still going to be uh, probably more so on the multimedia end of things because that's what I enjoy doing the most is the multimedia. So there'll be more tutorials coming up on making videos, maybe working with audio tracks, that sort of thing. And so I'll have more tutorials in that arena. Maybe cover some word processing. I'd eventually like to do an open, do a LibreOffice uh, series so that people can get the most out of that. You know, there's I have a lot of ideas on the table. It's just finding the right time to implement them. Um, you know, I like how the Zoo Crew news feature came out, so I think I'm going to actually start doing that once a month rather than because it is tedious to do
Yes.
newscasts where I've got to do all the chroma keying,
Right.
and all the compositing and that sort of thing. And you were present during that news show, and I thought that went over really, really well. It
Yeah.
was great to be
Yeah.
able to have everybody interact. We'll sit down and we'll read a news article, and then have everybody discuss it. I, I, I think I think that is I think that is a better way to present the news rather than
Absolutely, yeah.
rather than just sitting there and reading the news off a sheet of paper. It's better just to read a little snippet of the news and then get other people's impressions of it and
Yes.
that sort of thing. And a lot of and I admit, yeah, there's some conjecture. We're getting people's opinions and that sort of thing. But isn't that what the news is really about? I mean,
Right.
anytime you watch CNN or any other news channel, you're getting somebody's point of view on the news. I
Right.
mean, be it factual or fallacy, whatever. You know, um, you know, um, I just like that way of doing it, where you have a panel of people from experts all the way to just fans,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that was the original intent behind the Zoo Crew. We have the A Team, okay, so that's your panel of show hosts, and maybe have an expert in on the discussion as well, and then the Zoo Crew, you've got a mix of everybody, and so I'm definitely going to continue with that, if anything. And then as time permits, I will, be able to fill in requests that others have made. I've got Panther OS coming up. I'm going to be doing a review on that, and I have a few other things that I really want to do as well. I just installed Ubuntu onto a flash drive with a generous persistence on it so that I can do a few tutorials in Ubuntu itself on actual hardware. So it'll allow me to experiment a little bit, at least until I have my desktop computer up and running to my satisfaction. So a lot of good things are coming up. It's just finding the time to really implement
Right.
all of that.
Well, I mean, I feel like I have a full plate with everything that I do, and then, of course, putting up with Spatry's, shenanigans on top of that. But uh,
Oh, come on.
I had to get you back for last night for totally sidewinding my show. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Hey,
But
hey, but you know what? That just added to the entertainment value right there. I
yes,
mean,
it did. I'm
uh,
just
yeah,
trying to be funny. I'm not as funny as Spatry. Sorry, but no.
uh,
No, it turned out
may
fine.
I resemble that comment there? Oh, never mind.
Well, yeah, I mean, for myself, I do feel like I have a full plate, between the normal dual booting, one-stop shopping channel, Total OS. Thank you, Spatchy, for calling me that. I do appreciate it.
Uh,
Between that and I have of course, the Toscast podcast, the Linux 18, the three websites that I try to keep up. I have a full plate. Of course, I just added the news items Sunday night. I'm going to try to do that every Sunday night. It'll be a short one because now it's just time. And then on top of that, we briefly talk about a sort of a Windows 18 type of show, which we need to discuss when we have time. But as far
I'm
as far,
dual booting.
okay, well there you go. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
IG,
So
do you dual
I'll
boot? Yeah.
Yes, I do indeed.
see. We
Well,
could have a Windows show. We could be happy, happy, joy, joy. Why Linux sucks.
uh, I
We'll
can't wait
those
for that
every
one,
time.
especially when you
You're already
need
in the
your
state
broken
of
windows. Yeah, right. So
I'm kidding, of
I
course,
know,
but
I know.
yeah, I mean, that's like the Windows 8 review. Yeah, you can have a wonderful operating system like this, and then I roll up the virtual machine, or you can have a Linux machine that does this. you know.
Well, folks, there you go. That is going to be our next invention. I don't want to call it the Windows. Maybe call it the PC 18. How does that sound?
Hey, now there you go, because
Otherwise,
you
you
know,
have Microsoft coming after us
Right, right,
with copyright
right.
infringements.
because the software did say you needed to install Windows 2000 or better, so I installed Linux.
There you go. Whatever
Amen.
works, baby. Whatever works. So, folks, there's an exclusive announcement. We will be doing, I don't know when in the future, a PC 18. I think we agree. Is that correct?
Uh-huh.
That
Okay.
sounds good to me.
All right. But
Yeah.
I don't know when. No promises when. Like I said, we all have full plates. Of course,
Uh,
IG school and Spatry with your, but we will keep you posted.
yeah.
One thing that I did fail to mention on my channel is I'm hoping at some stage that I can get into contact with a local retailer here to have a look at some either some Android devices or even some of the more Linux oriented devices that are sort of surfacing, like the KDE Spark tablet, which actually has been renamed. But anyway, I mean, I've already kind of inquired about reviewing, hardware that runs Linux, like laptops and desktops and things like that. But the biggest problem is because I'm in Australia, the shipping costs can be murderous for a company,
Yes.
even if they are going to get decent exposure via the video that I do. So, yeah, finding a local, finding something that's fairly close by to do that I think would be beneficial as well to find some,
Sure.
just
Sure.
my thoughts on some quality hardware that runs somewhat open source, arguably with Android, obviously, but still, it's out there, and there are people
Right.
wanting to know what it's all about. So, well, where there's an audience, there's always a gap to be filled.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Spatry, if you want to add one more thing, do you have something else to add?
I'll take one lump of sugar
Ah,
and a little bit of milk with my coffee.
okay. Excuse me, server. Yes, ma'am. Could you bring that big barrel of coffee for Spatry? No, no, the one with the double barrels. That's it. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, the one with the one with the
Yes.
IV drip.
Here it is, right here. Wait, here it.
Yeah, we'll
Ah,
take it. We'll take it intravenously
there you
today.
go. There you go. Okay, I got your sugar lump. Can you hear that sugar? There we go.
That sounded like Tic Tacs. I don't do Tic Tacs in the coffee.
It's peanuts anyway. Uh, okay,
Biscuits, anybody?
biscuits. Ooh, I just had some cheesecake the other day. It was freaking awesome. It's been so long.
All right, all this talk of food is
All right,
making me hungry.
all right. Let me. I think we will close out the show. Let me just add one thing that we don't always mention. Doing these shows, folks, it's become clear, us three talking and you listening, it's become
Transparently clear.
transparently. Yes, thank you there, sir. Uh, it's become transparent. Thank you, window washer Spatry, for being so transparent. No,
Wee wee wee. Sorry, my squeegee sound effect.
you see, folks, this
It
is what I
didn't work.
have to put up with week after week. I don't blame IG for saying, you know what, you Americans are just what's the Australian word for, like, strange and goofy? I can't think of one. What?
Bozos?
Bozos. I love it.
Are you
It's
bloody daft?
it's the new Bozolytics featuring Spatry. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Hey!
By the way, IG Spatry had briefly mentioned doing a podcast and calling it Spatcast. Sure, that'll work.
The
Yeah.
spat cast. Yay! That would work. That would work.
Yeah, it rolls off the tongue quite nicely, doesn't it?
Spatcast. Yeah. Be
Yes.
careful for
Ah,
the spats
it's
spits.
the wonderful spat cast.
What's in the coffee, bud? Okay. Can I please can I finish the show now? Please, Bill, please, friend, please, please, please.
You have my blessing.
Thank you. Thank you, Father Spatry. All right. I lost my train of now I remember. As you have heard, doing these shows, it's clear that it's become more than a hobby for all three of us. Would that sound right, gentlemen?
Yeah, indeed it does.
Okay. You don't know, we tried to explain the time involved and the pieces of our lives that we put into this to create the highest quality show possible. So let me just get
Oh, that's
right.
arguable.
Well, I can't do it. I'm trying to end the show, and I got
Okay, well, I'm sorry. Yeah.
no. That's okay. Yes, quality is definitely subjective, maybe more subjective than objective, but the bottom line is we all try, all three of us try to do a quality show. And it's become clear that the more quality we put in, the more time it takes pieces from our life to put into a certain product. Does that sound fair to you, gentlemen?
Yes.
Okay.
You couldn't be any more transparent.
Thank you, sir. So I guess what we're trying to say is support all three channels any way that you can, because keeping up with technology, keeping up with the videos, hardware gets old, can get old pretty fast, and sometimes it breaks, and sometimes bleep happens, and we have to go out and buy stuff. Not to mention the time from family and stuff. We definitely, all three of us, appreciate all the terrific comments, suggestions, so on and so forth, the interaction, precious stuff. But subscribe or tell your friends to subscribe to support all three channels. If you can, donate if you can. Even if you just donate $1. Now, I know Spatry has a single core machine. Now, I'm not speaking for Spatry, but I know he has. And trying to do rendering on a single core is complete horse stable. It takes too long. So, all right, that's all I needed to say. We do thank you for all your support and suggestions to all three channels. It does keep us going. We really enjoy what we do. It is time consuming. I just wanted to let you know, and I don't mean to be preachy, but this is who we are. This is who I am. If any of you guys want to interject something now, please feel free.
No, I agree with what you've laid on the table.
Yeah, I agree too. Yeah, it would be nice if Santa Claus could bring me a dual core computer. Or a
Folks,
quad core.
please,
Or an
please,
8
yes.
core or 16 cores. Yeah, yeah, let's
Please, people, make Spatry happy because he's driving me freaking nuts. He needs to calm down, you know. Hey, if he gets a quad core, maybe he'll spend more time on the computer and less coffee drinking, which means I won't have to go out and buy more speaker monitors all the time. Please. On that note, thank you for listening. This was completely enjoyable, thoroughly enjoyable as always. We appreciate you. I appreciate Spatry and IG for being part of my channel, and we reciprocate, of course. Uh, you know what? I'm gonna let you guys close it out. And I mean, I usually do the close out, but you know what? This is our show, not just mine. So, IG, what do you have to say in closing?
I have to say that it's only now that I figured out that I had my Blue Snowball USB mic plugged in, but I didn't have it selected in the Skype option. So congratulations to me for only figuring that out a second ago. So I'm not sure if it sounds any different or what, but I should have figured that out earlier. Regardless, it's been a pleasure being here once again, and yeah, I certainly hope that these keep going and we keep sort of
Yes.
providing quality content to an audience that seems to appreciate all shenanigans and information that might be dripped along with it.
Yeah, Spatry.
Well, all I can say is I thoroughly enjoy being here with both of you, Total S today and Infinitely Galactic. It's always fun to sit down and spend time with you guys, and most importantly, I'd like to thank all the listeners,
Yes.
and I'd like to thank all of you for your comments and suggestions and feedback you've been giving. I mean you know, that means so much to us. When we get the positive feedback coming in, or just a simple thank you, from the
Yes.
from the viewers and everything. I mean, that's what makes all of this time that we put into these shows really worth it.
Right.
And of course, throwing a coin at us every now and then is always a nice thing too. But you don't have to do it if you don't have it. That's perfectly fine. There are many other ways you can support. I mean, one way you could also help is by disabling your ad blockers when you're visiting our websites and
Yeah.
channels and that sort of thing, because that really helps out immensely
Right.
as well.
Right.
But
Right.
but most importantly, the fact that our listeners really enjoy these shows and that they're telling their friends about the show, and that they keep coming back for more. That's what really makes it all worthwhile. And I'm glad to be here to contribute my part. And I can't thank the both of you enough for your contributions to the community as well, because if it were not for you guys, as well as the many others that are out there doing the same exact thing, I wouldn't have even launched my own show on September 20th. I haven't even been at this a whole year. I've been at this for, what, 7 months now?
Yeah.
And it has been a wonderful experience. I'm going to continue doing it to the best of my ability. And, I'll tell you, I have made more friends, and I feel so much like part of the family, and that is a reward in of itself. So, yeah, so I'm just going to keep doing this you know, because this has brought me so much joy. And back to you.
Thank you, Spatry. Yeah, I feel lucky having you two as my technological friends. My first thanks has to go to IG for joining me on that very, very first, Tosscast podcast not that long ago that really has continued. If it wasn't for IG, I don't know where my channel would have been, but I think IG, we probably both have benefited. Well, in fact, not probably. I know we have. So thank you to you for being my Australian friend, as I sometimes say. Thank you, Spatry. It is a sense of family, there's no question. And you know what? I think I will end this Linux 8 team on that note from my technological family to yours out there listening. Thank you. And as always, all three of us will catch you in your future. Thank you.
Take care now.
Bye. Okay. It
All
doesn't
right.
get
Good
any
stuff.
better than that. Yeah. I'm gonna cry. Oh my god. I'm waiting for sound effect from IG. Come on, do something.
Oh, sorry, I was sniffling now. I just got a tissue.
Oh, is that what that was? Okay.